I'm Lisa and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to take a plain pine cabinet that was literally falling apart and turn it into a glamorous grand millennial chinoiserie chic cabinet. So let's jump right into the video. Here's a little cabinet that I picked up at auction. As you can see, it's in pretty rough shape. The inside's pretty bad, and then there was some cracking in the door, and then there was wood damage along both of the bottom areas of it. So pretty rough shape and a really poor paint job as well. So I got right in, took all the hardware off, and then got to removing whatever that was, that weird wallpaper. I was able to use my steamer and it came off in pretty good time. Usually a steamer or a heat gun can usually get that kind of sticky stuff off. But as I was taking off the legs, I noticed that there was a nail in the bottom there. And then when I peeked over, it's actually showing through. So they nailed it, but it didn't actually go into the wood. It's actually in the cabinet portion of it. So there was actually a lot of repairs that needed to be made to this. As you can see, as I'm just kind of looking at it, whoops, there's one of the bottom pieces just popped right out. I'm not really sure what was holding this thing together. So a lot of structural repairs before I could even get to the fun parts. Because as you can see, there's a nail protruding on one side of the cabinet. And if I flip around, there's another nail on that side too. So those both had to be taken out before I can move on. But I was able to get to the stripping. I used a premium stripper, and as you can see, it didn't really come off really good. I'm not sure what this finish was, but I got off some of it, and then I was able to use my sander to really get more. I am painting it, so I wasn't trying to get down to raw. I was just trying to get a nice clean surface and a smooth surface to be able to paint. So here's the repairs I did. I had a big crack in one of the doors. So I was able to go in with my sandpaper and just kind of work out any kind of bits that were in there. So I have a clean surface to be able to get in that wood glue. So I used my wood glue, started adhering that. I didn't have a syringe, so that would be the best in a crack area, but I was able to use the wood glue, and then I used my Bondo spreader to just kind of get it in because the crack was completely open. So I was able to just get it in there very easily, no problem. So I did that on both sides, and then I just was able to clamp it up so that it could dry. All right, so here I have it all wrapped up, drying, and so you can see where the hardware holes are. I'm actually going to fill those in, and I'm going to move the hardware holes to the middle of the doors. And so I just thought that would be a little bit of a different look. I had some others in mind. And then I get to my sanding. Again, I'm just trying to provide a nice smooth surface so that my paint job looks really good. I'm not trying to go all the way down to raw wood necessarily. I just need it to be really smooth. You'll see later on I have to do a lot more of some wood repairs. I have to fill in with some wood filler where there's like little dents, or if there's you can see here, there was even like little stickers I had to try to get off. So this is a pretty beat up little guy, but I did a lot of work to get it ready to just prime and repaint. Now I'm ready to reattach the base. So I put all of the boards back, use my brad nailer to secure them so that we didn't have any nails popping out. And then I was able to do the bonder repair on the sides. And then, because you can see there's a lot of cracking of the wood there, of the slats. So I put in some Bondo, so that would be a nice smooth surface when I went to prime and paint. I decided to make a new base. These are 1x3s. And so I just cut them out, and I just felt like I needed a little bit more structural support. So I cut them out, laid them out, and then I'm going to use my Craig jig in order to actually adhere them. First thing you have to do is set your depth or your width of your board. So my board is 3/4 of an inch wide. So that's what this is going to go at. And then, see here, got to get your manual, girl. So you got to get your manual out, and it'll tell you your board width. So my width is 2.5. So my board width is going to be right here in this area. So my center mark is going to be B, which is the second circle in, is going to be my center mark, and I'm going to use the drills guide for 1 and 3. So here's my center mark, if you can see that in the light, but this is my second one over, so this is going to be my center mark, and I'm going to use these two. So I'm going to center it here ish, bring it in. This is where I made my mistake. This is the drill bit that they give you. You've got to adjust the height for the width of your board. And so I had been cutting something bigger, and I had it cut at, or set at a 1.5. And so mine didn't work. So you got to take this. They all provide all these tools with you. And there's a little, you see those markings? So I want to center it up on 3.5. I'm sorry, 3/4. And then you just tighten it down. So I had mine set for 1.5, so it didn't work. Learn from my mistakes. Okay, so now you put the drill bit in your drill, tighten it down, and then you should be able to drill. Here we go. Gotta tighten this baby down. Okay, so then what you're going to do is you're going to change out this bit. They actually give you a long drill bit that matches their screws. So I'm going to take it out, and I'm going to line it up here with my board, and I'm going to clamp it down. All right, I'm going to use 1.25. I'm going to use, these are the screws that come with it. I'm going to use 1.25 for this one. And see if this works. All right. Here we go. So now I'm ready to attach the new base to the cabinet. So I will adhere that, and then along the seam where I have the new base and I have the old cabinet, I'm going to attach some lattice trim. And that's just going to kind of just make everything look a little bit more seamless, a little bit more professional. And then I'm going to caulk that seam. As you can see, I have a lot of areas that I've already had to do some repairs on. A lot of wood filler. You can see I'm going to use some plastic wood, and I'm going to fill in all the little parts that need some repairs before I can move on to my priming and my painting. I like to prime with Ben Shellac Primer. It's a fabulous all-purpose primer. It will cover any kind of tannin, bleed through. It will cover any odors. It provides a wonderful base for any type of paint that you are going to use. And then, isn't this a fun color? This is called Ming Jade by Benjamin Moore. And it is a bright, fun, kind of a bluey green color. But I was rolling that. The secret to the rolling is use a very thin nap. So anything under like a 1/4 inch nap. Microfiber rollers work really well. So just don't overwork it. Do your first coat. First coat's going to look rough, but then wait, and then your second coat will look better. Then I was, just for a nice little element, I decided to do some wallpaper on the inside of the cabinet doors. So I adhered that. It was a water activated one, and I think it turned out really well. So I decided one more thing to do is on the feet. I decided to prime and paint them out. I painted them out in the same green color. And then as you can see, I decided to tape off the bases of the feet and give it a little touch of gold because why not? I think they look really fun. So as you can see, I just taped them and then I put a little bit of paper around them just to kind of protect them. And then was able to use that painter's tape and it turned out really good. I have them adhered here. They went on really good with the new base. And then for one last little touch, I have a Greek key stencil that I did around the top, the front three sides of the cabinet. It came 2 parts. You do one part and then you put the second stencil over it and then you do the other. And I love Greek key. I think it is a really beautiful detail. Let's revisit this cabinet and remember what it looked like when we started. It had mismatched shelving, it had broken doors, it had wood damage, it had a horrendous paint job on it. So lots of problems, but after a lot of work, here it is. Tell me what you think.